You're listening to Marketing Impressions, brought to you by M. Roberts Digital. We are data-driven marketing experts who develop, deliver, and optimize business growth campaigns. In this podcast, you can expect to expand your knowledge in the big wide world of marketing and hear real-life marketing examples. I'm your host, Jordan Sherrod, and I'm thrilled to make marketing matter for you today. The term marketing, is broader than a lot of people may realize. When someone asks, what do you do? And you say, I'm in marketing, that can mean a lot of things. It can mean I'm, a website developer, a graphic designer, a salesperson for, a radio station or a billboard or a marketing agency. There is just a whole world that encompasses that term marketing. So it's important that we grasps the entire picture of what marketing is and what it can do to best determine, marketing strategies for our clients' specific campaigns. Because there's a lot of things that go into making a successful marketing campaign for our clients. And so it's not just a one tactic will kill it all. It's important to go in with a whole blended strategy. So that's what we're going to talk about today on our second podcast. We are so excited to be back here on Marketing Impressions. That's Marketing Impressions with an M. And I'm here with one of our multimedia sales consultants, Shauna Yaki. And Shauna is very talented, very skilled at what she does.
Thank you.
And we're just excited for what she's able to bring today to the table, to this literal table right here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So Shauna, tell us first of all just a little bit about yourself, kind of what your passions are, what your role is, maybe. Sure. Just to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Well, so hi, I'm Shauna. I am originally from Kansas. I moved to Tyler about 5 years ago. I've been in the marketing world for about the last 7. I got my start in radio and then moved out here, radio, and then decided, hey, I wanted to do more. Yeah. And was able to have the opportunity to come here, and I've been here ever since, and I love it.
That's so fun. Okay, so obviously you have a good deal of marketing experience. This question I'm going to ask you isn't necessarily fair because what we're talking about is a whole picture blended marketing strategy. This is just kind of fun. What are some of your favorite marketing tactics you like to propose for your clients' campaigns? And now, when you're actually doing this, you have very specific goals that you have for your clients, but what do you find are some of the more fun, tactics and things that you put into this big blend of your clients' overall marketing campaign?
Well, that's a tricky question because it depends on where they are when you start. Okay. So if they currently have all of the things that you can just fill in the blanks and go, or if you have to fill in, or if you have to create some of those things and able to fill in to go. Yeah. However, a couple can't have. I don't think I have one. Yeah. But a couple of my favorite things is probably just helping create and helping the client find out who they actually are as a brand, understanding why they're in business to do what they're doing, and how do we, showcase that to everybody else. That's done in a multitude of different ways. But the tactic that I would probably say is my favorite is really using our digital targeting tools because I can really say, for a, let's say a gym, I want somebody between the ages of, 19 and 35 that is, what's the term? Is it gym, tan, laundry, GT? Yeah. That's interested in fitness, and that's consuming that type of content somewhere online, or that meets the prerequisites for the client and who the client's looking for. So it's always fun to me, because when you can show the client, hey, this is how many people fall within that scope, they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can do that?
Yeah. 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 It blows
It's a
their
lot of
minds.
fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And we'll talk about that later on in our podcast, specifically about those tactics and how you can break it down even more. So there's obviously hundreds of directions you can go, right, for your client's campaign. So Shauna, as a multimedia consultant, how do you go about proposing like a specific campaign for a client? You know, what are some of the things that you take into consideration when crafting a proposal for them?
Sure. First thing is you have to listen.
Okay.
You have to listen. You have to find out, ask the questions, ask the probing questions, and sometimes they're not easy. Like when you're asking somebody to go beyond, well, we're the best at customer service, or we do this. Finding out what they actually do, and then who their audience really is, because sometimes when you start asking some of those questions, who they think their audience is really isn't who their audience is. And so then when you're able to get that aha moment, that bright light that goes off, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that it was more of a, not general approach, a more specific approach, or a specific type of person, versus like, every person under on God's green earth. Yeah. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. Talk some more about like, okay, how do you decide I want to do, SEM, or I want to do Facebook, or how do you decide I want to do targeted versus email marketing? You know what I mean? Like those different elements.
So it depends on what the goal of the campaign is, right?
Okay,
like, are we looking for online conversions, which is when somebody like goes online and either completes a sale or fills out a form or something along those lines? Is that what we're looking for? Are we looking for brand awareness? Are we just trying to showcase the brand in the marketplace? Are we introducing the brand? Are they rebranding? Like, what does that look like? And then, or is the goal of the campaign to get people to actually walk into a physical space?
Okay, yeah.
So it depends on what the campaign goal is versus to what kind of tactic you use. And you can't put all of your eggs in one basket. So it can't be, hey, well, I'm just going to do Facebook advertising. Okay, well, that's great, but is that really accomplishing the goal that you're trying to, that you're trying to reach?
Yeah.
And, it's, my dad always said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and you have to spread the love out a little bit more so you can reach more people where they are, versus just concentrating on one place and missing the rest.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So I like that idea. I love your clarification on, making sure that you're not just focusing in one area, because you're going to miss a whole target audience potentially. So the picture that comes into my mind is something like when you're baking a cake, right? Like you have all these different ingredients that you're putting into the cake. And it's important that each one of them goes in, because if you miss the sugar, I mean, oh my gosh, at the end you take that bite and you're like, this is just bread. Like, this is gross. So it's important in marketing to think of when you're baking this cake for your clients, that it's a multi-ingredient cake, right? That everything goes into it.
Correct.
As it's going all together. And what I love about this cake analogy is this, that when I put all that together, all those ingredients together, mix it up, and I put it in the oven, it takes time to bake, right?
Yes.
In the same way, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll ask you this. Once you craft all your tactics and launch them, you can't just immediately expect there to be this beautiful cake that's ready to eat, right? Why is that? Why does that take some time?
It's the same thing as a get-rich-quick scheme. Doesn't work.
Okay, yeah.
You have to give people time to recognize. So think about when a new brand's brought into the market, right? Like, let's say when Snapchat first started.
Okay, yeah.
So when Snapchat first started, you're like, not everybody knew what it was. Like, you have the word of mouth that's going to spread. You have all of the other things. It's the same thing when we're talking about you can't just do one thing. If Snapchat would have only decided to, advertise or to use one avenue, they wouldn't have seen the exponential growth that they saw.
Yeah.
They chose to take all of these different pieces, put it all into the cake, so it's a pretty cake and it tastes good, rather than it just being that flour that like type thing.
Yeah. That's good. Let's talk about the consumer, okay? As far as like receiving our marketing tactics or seeing them, right? Getting those impressions. Based on what you've heard and research, and this is kind of a curveball question, but how often, what does it take, I guess, for a consumer to respond to marketing efforts?
At least 18 to 20 touch points.
Okay.
And those are in different places.
Wow,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not just, that's why you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket, and you do want to have the full cake, all of the ingredients in the cake, because you may respond to, an ad on Facebook, whereas somebody else is going to notice something, an out-of-home ad, which is a billboard, or something that's outside of the home. And then you don't really remember. I'll ask the audience this question, if the last Home Depot ad, right? So do you remember if you saw a commercial, if you saw an ad for Home Depot somewhere, if you heard their lovely jingle that nobody, or did you see something outside? Like, did you see their physical, their sign when you drove by it? Like, where was the last time you remember interacting with Home Depot?
Okay.
What do you think the answer normally is?
For me, it was just a video on a targeted video. But
most of the time, people will give the straight answer, like it's just across the board Google.
Yeah.
Google is the last place I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that may not be the last place, because they're in every space.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they're touching you at different places, but because you probably went and Googled something that had to do with Home Depot.
I did actually.
Then that's where you remember, because it's the last place that your mind remembers seeing, tasting, feeling any of those senses, like with that particular brand, interacting with them.
It's good. Yeah, I have this nasty gash in my wall, and so I'm looking for some texturizer to smooth it over.
They'll sell it to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, man, that was awesome. Shauna, is there anything, that you'd like our listeners to know by way of just general marketing advice or what we've talked about today as far as blending tactics? Anything else that jumps out to you think they should know?
Not anything that jumps out other than, know what understand to the best of your ability, or get somebody behind you that understands to the best of their ability, what you're actually doing and how all of the different pieces work together. Because they don't, because they have to.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it other than that they just have to. It can't be segmented. They have to be, consistent and coherent and
fluid. And just to, we are a marketing agency, M. Roberts Digital, and I think the value of hiring an agency like us is just that we are in all of those different areas all day, every day, right? And so if you're a business owner, you don't have to worry about, okay, am I making sure I'm hitting every market where my potential audience might be? That's a huge benefit, I feel. Or
understanding the market either.
That's right.
Like thinking what the marketplace looks like, and then finding out that it's something completely different.
Right. Yep. Well, so Shauna, one of your clients is Stonewater Roofing, which, they service East Texas and the Dallas area. And we've got a little clip from them about their thoughts on blended marketing tactics and some more. So we're going to listen to that and watch that real quick, and then we'll be right back. Well, hey guys, so excited to introduce to you guys Phil with Stonewater Roofing. He is the director of marketing over there, and we just kind of wanted to probe his mind a little bit and see what he has to offer. We want to give you guys real life examples of people who are out in the field doing this, making decisions for businesses in marketing. And so Phil is one of those guys. So Phil, tell us a little bit about Stonewater Roofing, and then also kind of what your company's marketing goals are.
Well, for my team, the primary marketing goal, first and foremost, is generating leads. We have to bring customers in the door. This is an industry that still primarily runs on the door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
So really, from our team's perspective, we aim to kind of be responsible for about a third of the company's leads. We find that that's a pretty good spot for our size. And of course, that will grow hopefully over time, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, we're not necessarily an industry where marketing at least relies on sales. This is not like we're selling a product in the traditional sense, where somebody would click on a link and immediately go buy the product. There's a process to it.
Okay.
So marketing from our perspective is more about generating customer interests and then passing that along to our sales team. So for my team's purposes, our success isn't really measured in the sales that we bring in, but more about, like I said, the lead generation, that amount of interest. And some of the obstacles that we run into. Roofing isn't always this top of mind for our customers. It's really easy to forget about whatever's over your head. So we're trying to explain to people why it should be top of mind. We're trying to get in front of people when it is top of mind. I mean, a lot of people will think about it when a storm comes through, and we need to be there for them. When a storm doesn't come through, it's actually a great time to get a roof because you're not dealing with problems. So we need to remind people that their roof is even there. And
I love it.
But one of the other things that we have to deal with is the roofing industry kind of has a bad reputation. There's a lot of people in there that are, kind of shady players that are coming in and just trying to do, shoddy work and just kind of take off with the money. So our second primary goal then, in addition to the leads, would be earning reviews. We need to be able to have those previous customers backing us up and saying, this is a reputable company. This is the shady players. And there's somebody that you can work with.
So it sounds like
in Tyler, we are the roofing company that has the most 5-star reviews.
Love it. Yes. So it sounds like for you guys, like that relationship building is super important at lots of different stages, but a trust factor is a big part.
People, especially when it comes to a large project like your roof, people aren't necessarily buying from the company. They're buying from the people. So, it's about putting our people first and, really getting those people in front of our customers and be able to show, these are the relationships that you'll make. And you can see in all of those reviews that we have, a lot of our employees are called out by name.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so in all your marketing efforts to do the things that you're talking about, do you think it's important to diversify your marketing efforts, and why is that important, if so?
Absolutely for us, because generally speaking, we have a very broad demographic. It really just comes down to property owners, whether that's homes or businesses. We are not makeup, for example, which is going to be primarily targeted at women between a certain age. That's a little more honed in on their target. We have a very broad audience, and they're everywhere. So we need to make sure that we're everywhere too. That said, we definitely pay attention to our analytics and make sure that we're not kind of wasting money in places that aren't effective for us. So it's important to know that where your audience is actually finding you, where those are converting into leads, and kind of hone in on those areas specifically.
So if you could get, what are some different marketing venues that you consider when launching campaigns or when doing these different phases? I know, in the past, just doing business with you guys, there's kind of these phases of like storm season when people are thinking about it, preseason when no one's, thinking about their roof, like you talked about. I don't know, what are some, I guess, more specific or practical, little areas you guys like to launch campaigns in?
So the reality of it is, myself and my team in particular, we're willing to try anything and everything.
Yeah.
We'll give it a shot at least once. And again, check those analytics and see how it works. We have a few constants that are kind of always in play for us. You have to always be on Google. When people are searching for that service, you need to be on top. You need to be there.
Right.
We've got deals with movie theaters. We've got our digital ads that we're running, CTV, OTT, that kind of stuff. It's a much more affordable option than traditional broadcast, and it's where a lot of people are going now. So
and it's more targetable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But storm season is our most popular time.
Yeah.
And so when a storm rolls through, I have something that I have enacted that I call Operation Ninja Turtle.
Okay.
And I call it that because it's 4 parts.
Okay.
So to bring you through the classic 80s song.
Yeah.
First and foremost is social leads. That's the Leonardo.
Yeah. Good.
Because it's quick to get out there. We can get on social media before we can get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's easy to target that, area where the storm came through. That's our first thing. We've got ads that are ready to go and kind of plug and play so that we can add a storm map to it, add some storm details to it. We're on social.
Love it.
Second, Donatello is the email campaign because it deals with machines. That is basically, we target our previous customers, our current customers, kind of just make sure, hey, this storm came through your area. We want to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of checking in on them. 3, Raphael is direct mail because it's a little bit rude maybe to invade people's mailbox, but it's a cool kind of campaign.
Nice.
So we have a direct mail piece that will go out and we'll target specific neighborhoods, those areas where the storms have gone through, with a direct mail piece of, hey, again, just checking in. We want to make sure that your roof's okay. This storm came through. Here's the details. Maybe you weren't thinking about the condition of your roof, but really you should be, and here's why.
Yeah.
And then 4th, Michelangelo is including all of our partners.
Okay.
Because then it becomes a party, dude.
Yeah.
So, we get with our partners that help us with things like Google, for example, and make sure that all of our ad placements are targeted to those specific areas and are really weighted to those specific areas to make sure that we're maximizing our relationships there.
Oh man, that is awesome. I love that. That is the best blended tactic strategy.
It started as a trident, but then we added a method, and I was like, now I need something that has 4. Well, that's 4.
That is awesome. I love that.
Well, Phil, thanks so much for joining us for this little snippet here, and we'll see you again next time. Shauna, thanks so much for joining us today. That was a blast. I'm so thrilled to make marketing matter for you guys today, and we'll see you next time. Marketing Impressions is brought to you by M. Roberts Digital. M. Roberts Digital is your local marketing company with global reach. We uniquely and proudly offer every kind of marketing imaginable for our clients' campaigns. Quite simply, we make you successful. By hitting our goals month after month, M. Roberts Digital has continued to grow year after year and achieve unprecedented success. You can learn more and start your own marketing campaign at mrobertsdigital.com.